Hi, my name is Crystal Marie Stewart. I am in Iowa City, Iowa right now. I'm a big fan of Shakespeare. Some of you might know who he is. I've been a fan of Shakespeare since I was a kid because I like stories about magic and hijinks, and I think his characters are really fun. So, first, who is William Shakespeare? William Shakespeare is a guy who lived a very long time ago. His dad wanted him to make gloves, but instead he wrote plays. He invented the word bedroom, and he died on his birthday. He was born on April 23rd, 1564. He died on April 23rd, 1616. Somewhere in there, he wrote Twelfth Night, which is one of my favorite plays because there's lots of mistaken identity. There's lots of running and yelling. All of the characters are actually really fun. And I've been in it twice. So here is a picture of me in Twelfth Night. It was written in 1601. And it starts off with Viola and Sebastian. They're twins. They're brother and sister, and they're from out of town. And they were on a boat, and the boat sinks. They both think the other one is dead. That's important. So Viola washes up on shore and she needs to get a job. And it's the 1600s, so she has to pretend to be a man to get a job. Good times, right? And the man that she pretends to be, she names him Cesario. So she cuts off her hair, she dresses up as a boy, she names herself Cesario, and she goes to get a job. And where does she get a job? With Orsino. He's the Duke of Illyria, which is basically a king. Not quite, but very close. He's in charge of everybody. And he has two really sassy servants / henchmen. All they really do is say snarky things. And they're always together. So, there's very rarely a time when you see Valentine without Curio and vice versa. Meanwhile, on the other side of the island is Olivia. She's a countess. She's as rich as the Duke, but she's a woman. So she doesn't have as much power, unfortunately, because misogyny. And in her house are a gaggle of mischief makers named, first of all, Toby Belch. Hilarious. He is her uncle, or as I like to call him, her drunkle, because he drinks a lot as a personality trait. Then there's Mariah, who is her servant or companion. It depends on which time period you decide to set the plan. Mariah is not as wealthy as Olivia, and she works for her. She makes sure that weirdos don't show up uninvited, etc. Then there's Feste, who he's the clown, or the fool, or the jester, depending on which way it makes most sense to you. Fools are funny in a witty way, and clowns are usually really sad. I don't know why. Finally, there's Sir Andrew Aguecheek, and he is in love with Olivia, but Olivia doesn't like him. But he's just living here at her house, waiting for her to change her mind. It's a little creepy. Toby likes him to have him around for entertainment purposes, and also because Andrew has a lot of money. Toby does not. All of these guys, Toby, Mariah, Feste, and Andrew, all have a collective beef with Malvolio. And Malvolio is Olivia's steward. He kind of reminds me of the butler on Fresh Prince. He's a little stuffy, he's a stick in the mud, and he won't let them have really loud parties. He treats them like garbage, even though he's also a servant, so there's some very strange power dynamics there. And they decide to trick him into thinking Olivia is in love with him, which is a big deal. But we're not going to get there because you have to read a play. Other characters of note, Antonio, who is a pirate, which is most of what you need to know about him. We find out later that Sebastian is alive because Antonio, the pirate, rescued him. And Antonio is not allowed to come to Illyria because there's a warrant out for his arrest. He's got beef with Orsino, but he cares about Sebastian so much that he decides to go with Sebastian into town. Hijinks ensue. Other characters, there's a priest, there's some cops, there's a character named Fabian. who I'm pretty sure is a typo, only because Fabian and Feste serve almost the exact same purpose in the script. So most of the time when people produce the play, they just cut the character of Fabian and they give all his lines to Feste. But you're going to read it, so I just want you to know, Fabian and Feste are very similar. No one really knows what Fabian's job is. He just hangs out with Feste a lot, which is why I think they're supposed to be the same person. Twelfth Night is a comedy about mistaken identities, deception, and love. All at the heart of it is a love triangle. Orsino loves Illyria, but Olivia falls in love with Cesario, who is actually Viola, while Viola is in love with Orsino. Hot mess. So one of my favorite things to do is take techniques that I've learned from acting and use them to help students understand Shakespeare a little bit better. So today I'm going to teach you about mask entrances. What a mask entrance refers to is a phenomenon in which the actor needs to let the audience see the mask of a character before they can reveal either the actor underneath or a character's secondary motivation and personality. A lot of the characters in Twelfth Night wear masks, and their mask entrances can teach us something about the characters and what they're trying to portray. For example, Orsino, he's a duke, he's the top dog, and his mask entrance would probably involve power, taking up a lot of space either on stage or in the frame. But his actual personality is much more changeable, tempestuous. If you look at the Music Be the Food of Love play on speech, it's basically a giant temper tantrum. We have to see Orsino's kingly and dukely mask before we can truly understand how much that contrasts with his true petulant and changeable nature. Another example is Olivia. She's a countess. She really needs to be in charge and serious and aloof. But throughout the play, we see that underneath she's a really tender, hopeless, romantic type of character. But if we don't see her in her mask, literally swathed in veils and mourning, we won't understand how big of a deal it is when that mask slips and she falls hopelessly in love. Another fun thing to do with mask entrances is to show layers of character. For example, the actor puts on the character of Viola, who is a noble young woman on the run from her home because she has been shipwrecked and she's in a strange town and everyone in her family is dead. Then Viola puts on a mask of Cesario, a confident, worldly, practical, salt-of-the-earth young man. So it's interesting if we can see the layers in characters like Viola, where the actor has to put on a character and then the character has to put on a character. So how do you think a mask entrance or the layers of character can help you understand these characters better? Now you try it. Pick a character from the breakdown, like actors do. Choose one that you might want to audition for. Then come up with an entrance for the character that is fun and interesting. Choose something in your house, like a hat or a prop, to represent the character, like they did in Shakespeare's day.